at this. Look at the battling, and it is a safety car. Here comes Mika into slow corner. Whoa! Almost! And away we go here in the Netherlands for F leading down towards the next couple. Oh, it is! Oh my god! Whoa! Bit of a season as Nano wins! In Monza for FRLT Tier 1 of 4. And right beneath! Oh, here he goes! Hello, and welcome to FRLT Assists. It is time for round number 3 of the season, and it's time we go to a different track tonight. It is time for Brazil this season. As you can see, 4.309 kilometers, 2.677 miles, 15 turns, 2 zones down the pit straight and down that back straight. Those are the two. The calendar, we've gone through Monza, Mexico. We come to Brazil this week. Next week, we'll be going to the Netherlands before we have our first break week of the season. Then we'll be returning to a mystery race, then Hungary, Imola, Great Britain, then a mystery race, then a break week, then Japan, Belgium, Saudi Arabia, and Kota to end off the season. We're all here tonight. I'm currently trying to find one driver right now, who is proving to be difficult to find. Pretty much everybody's in. We're currently missing just 5 drivers. We're missing just a couple of drivers for the moment. We should be having a few more join very shortly, unless nobody's hopping in, which is quite strange. It seems to be a little bit quieter than usual. Which is odd. Bit of a quiet night here tonight. Which is, I have to say, quite strange. We've got 16 drivers. We should be getting the 17th in very shortly. We're missing, I believe we're missing a few people. We're missing 3 drivers at the moment. Missing just 3 drivers. We're missing both ABE drivers, and we're missing a VMV driver. Whoever the VMV driver is. Be getting going in about a minute's time. I've just got to check who the VMV driver was. Najus or Kaya fan. I don't know which one it is. I'm not sure who's missing still in the lobby for the moment. I still don't know who's missing. To be honest, I don't know who's missing still. We're missing a few drivers because we're missing ABE here tonight, which is strange. Not like them to not be here. I have to say, it's very, very odd to not have them here. But we might just be racing with 17 drivers. I know there's an LR driver that's missing, who's meant to be in, who is in. And we're going to get underway now. I know ABE have been struggling to find drivers, so we are missing a couple of people. I do believe we are missing 3 drivers tonight. VMV and both ABE. It's quite strange to be missing ABE. Usually they're here and on time, so it's odd. I have to say it's quite odd. But we're going to be readying up in a second. And so with that, let's have a look at the standings. As you can see, it is SET out on top in the standings by just a mere 6 points. They lead by just a very mere 6 points in the championship after 2 races. No team, by the way, in FRLT has ever led the championship past round 3. No team has led the first 3 races of the season. So if SCT hold on to the championship lead into Brazil, it's going to be quite interesting. SKG took the victory last week and closed up that gap. EVR on the same amount of points as well. They achieve another podium, making their way up to 30 points in their campaign so far. Good double points from them. UFRT definitely come out one of the strongest teams on the day, up to 4th in the standings. PR as well, up to 5th. LR, not a good week last week in Mexico. Only P11 and a DNF, a really rough one for them. AZR pick up some points. Same with VMV. Tie on points over 7th place now in the Constructors. AB still without a point, and our new entry AERT with not the smoothest of starts. And we're going to get into the lobby. And as you can see, it is raining for Brazil. It is raining. So for the first time, we are seeing rain out on track. For the first time here tonight. Why did I toggle that off? It is interesting, though, to see. It's very interesting to see that we've got 18 drivers in now. I think the other UFRT driver joined. Yes, he did. So we're just missing ABE tonight, which is disappointing to see. It's going to be the first ever race they've missed, by the way. So we're going to see who's going to head out on track first. Nobody heading out just yet. 1 minute has gone by. It's wet conditions, of course. Something a little bit different from usual. So it's definitely interesting. Nobody out for the first over almost first minute and a half. We've never had this before where drivers haven't gone out. We saw this in Belgium, by the way. It was dry at the start and rained for most of the qualifying session. For about 15 minutes of the session, it rained, and we have got a car coming out onto the track. It's Switch out onto the track for the first time here tonight. First driver out on track. It's taken a good 2 minutes to get a driver out onto the track. But they are out and they are ready to go. I think there's also a VMV driver also following. PR need a good night tonight. They're looking good in the championship-wise. They're looking pretty decent at the moment. 5th in the Constructors. A lot of people didn't expect them to be 5th. A lot of people expected them to be closer to about 8th or 9th in the Constructors. So I have to say, being up in 5th is pretty good for them. 21 points in just 2 races. The one thing PR, they've had their drivers both in the top 10 as well, so it's been a pretty interesting few weeks for them. But for PR here, they do need a strong performance. The only thing that's letting them down at the moment, I have to say, is quite kind of mid-race. They seem to struggle a bit more towards midway through the race. Qualifying last week was very good for them. A top 5 qualifying start from PR, I believe. So it was a very, or top 6, sorry, was very, very strong. You guys can hear the game. Your sound just isn't high enough. It's low, so you guys can hear me. But let's ride on board with Switch on his lap as he starts off the run here. A lot of drivers now out on track Into turn 1 we go. Hold on the brakes, locking up that front left quite heavily. Staying off the curb because it's a bit slippery. And again, through the left-hander, not too bad. First 3 corners down. Sliding all over the place from the RB. First sector's going to come out to being a 20.052 for the first sector. So that's kind of the sector time to beat. I have to say, Switch, he's not looking perfect, but he's not looking too comfortable on his lap either. He's not too comfortable, but he's not terrible. Lots of sliding through the uphill right-hander. Usually that's almost flat in the dry. Here in the wet, it's very, very different. You could just see the sliding for Switch. Whoa, went a little bit deep there. The car not turning in fully. You can see lots of rear sliding for Switch here. Pierre, of course, pretty much almost all, I believe, controller drivers. So for them, of course, the wet conditions can be sure. We've seen that before, sort of wet conditions, they're not the best. So we're going to have to see here. What can they do? The first lap time of the session is going to be a 1 minute 18.884. That's the time to beat at the moment. We've got Noseki coming up to the line next. He can't beat that, but he's very, very close. Just half a tenth behind in lap time. Very, very close to that lap time nonetheless. Frozen's coming up to the line next. He proved to be good in the 2 races for SEC so far. He took that win in round 1. And he got that podium in round 2. Let's see what he can do. It's nowhere close. 1 minute 20.5. That's not where you want to be. I think he's going for a proper run now. Snuck goes up to P4. Simba now goes P3. Staying quite close. A lot of drivers crossing the line. Beast can only go P5. Look at that. Luke only goes P5 now. Bran, fastest of all, 18.633. Cheese! ART Cheese goes into P2. What an interesting name, but very, very close again. Within 400ths of the pole time for the moment. So getting very, very close to that front man. Switch is coming around again. He's not on a fast run though. I think the next one, who's the next one to cross the line? That's Noseki. Noseki, I have to say, pretty strong lap from himself. He's still P4. And across the line, he's gone again for a run. He goes P2! And just 2 thousandths away from provisional pole. Very, very close. Here comes Tathan across the line. He can only go P9. He's far, far off of his teammate for the moment. Here comes Frozen. He's up by about 2 seconds. Let's see what he can do at the moment. That's going to be about quickest. He does go fast by an absolute mile. 1 minute 17.513 is now the new time to beat. Snuck just went P8. He improved very slightly. D'Amico improved by 4 tenths, but that wasn't enough for himself. Simba coming across the line. He was on a slow run there. I think we just saw somebody jumped up the order quite a bit. That was Beast, who jumped up the order to P6. Who's coming across the line next? Mash, he's coming across the line next. Can he go quick enough? He invalidated anyway. Vapor's coming across the line. Still one of the only drivers without a lap time so far in this session. And across the line he goes. He goes P4, just ahead of his teammate by just 3 thousandths of a second. Very, very close once again. Only one SKG driver still out at the moment. Not a lot of drivers on very fast push laps right now. Because Tathan's improving by another 8 tenths of a second. That's going to push him up to about P6. So he's looking pretty good so far. He's looking very, very good at the moment for lap time. And across the line, he goes P2 to an 18.2. Clearly showing there is a lot of time in the lap at the moment. Clearly a lot of time in the lap. Frozen now pulls into the pits. See, I think that's Yanni coming across the line. The box has just come out on his lap at the moment. There goes Snuck. He goes up to P3. He goes into an 18.3, showing there's still some time to find. That was D'Amico. D'Amico going into P8. And I think that was somebody just crossed the line to improve massively. That was Tathan. Who was that, actually, that just crossed the line? That was Simba, by the way, to an 18.1. I was trying to find who it was who improved that much. And it was Simba in the end. I think that is Vapor who's coming round. That was Cheese, actually. Vapor is coming round, but he goes up by another half a second to an 18.1, just behind Simba. Looking pretty interesting for the moment. I don't think Mash had a slow lap there. Lots of drivers doing multiple lap runs at the moment. Noseki finding another 4/10 in the lap time. He's looking very, very quick. And he goes P2 to an 18.0. Incredibly fast from himself. Just incredibly fast from himself, I've got to say. Very, very fast lap time there. Here comes Yanni Casares. What can he do? He goes P3 to an 18.1. Not too bad. Snuck goes back up to P5. Again, another strong lap from himself. D'Amico is going on a slow lap for the moment. Simba's coming across the line. He's going slow as well. We've got Beast who's coming around, who's also going quite slowly. So quite a few drivers going slowly. We've got Luke, who's on an out lap, who's just going to be starting his next run. We got Raphael, who's also on a slow lap as well. I think we've got Pesci, who's coming round. He's up by 3.5 That will only put him up to P13. So look at that fastest lap time. That switch was quick. He was fastest at the start of the session. Now he's down in P14. That's what a tough lap time does to you. Mash goes into P5. What a lap from himself. Very, very, very fast from JL. Very, very, very fast from himself. We got the box coming round. He seems to be about 7/10 off of his teammates, so he doesn't look too fast at the moment out on track. He's already quite a bit off. He only goes P15 with an 18.7, which would have been fastest at the start of the session. Now is P15. Not looking too good for himself for the moment. Looking quite bad, I must say. Yanni's going for another lap. He's going for another lap once again. I think we've got D'Amico coming around. He's up by 0.4 He's finding quite a bit more time in his lap. What does he do when he crosses the line? He goes only P9. That's what 0.4 gets you, only up to P9. It is so close. 2/10 split 9th to 2nd at the moment. Very, very close. Beast! P2! What a lap from himself. He goes into a 17.9. Luke goes into an 18.0. What a lap. What a lap. We've got to say about that. Somebody went up the order quite a lot. Cheese! AERT Cheese does the impossible. Goes to a 17.4. What a lap. Pesci, that was Pesci who went P5. What a lap from Cheese, though. What a lap. 1 minute 17.4. He was over a second off just a few moments ago. So he's found huge amounts of time. The box goes into a 17.9. 4 drivers now into the 1 minute 17s. Frozen goes another 3/10 quicker to a 1 minute 17.248. He just pushes it by another 2.5 seconds. And that's a good 1/4 second gap he's gained. Yanni Casares crossed the line in P3 with the 17.6. That's now 5 drivers, all in the 1 minute 17s. Looking a bit more interesting now, I must say. It's looking a little bit more interesting. Luke is on a slow lap at the moment. He's going very slowly for now. I think that's Raphael who's coming around. He's not on a fast run. No, he's not. He's going slowly as well. Here comes Ty. He's making his way around. Can Tyler make his good appearance for SCT? SCT look like they could be on for another pole here tonight. And across the line, he goes slowest of all. I don't think he was on a fast run anyway, so it wasn't looking too quick. Pesci's coming into the pits anyway. He had to jump somebody as well at the same time. I think we've got JL again coming up to the line. Where's he going to go? He goes P4 to a 17.6. Lap times coming down quite a bit every single lap. The box is now coming into the pits. He feels that he's done for now. You can see Noseki starting his run. Frozen on his way in as well. We've got Tathan who's invalidated. I'm not sure how you can invalidate in these conditions as well. I think it's quite strange to invalidate in these conditions. Gianni going for another fast lap. He's doing it again. He's going for another fast lap. Simba improving by over 0.6 seconds. This could put him up into the top 2. Let's see what he does when he crosses line. He goes P2, and that's a 17.3. He's really showing a threat to the man of Frozen here tonight. He's really showing he is a threat. And do not count him out at all. Luke improving again by about another 0.2 of a second. He's finding a bit more time in his lap. He goes up to P6. Not too bad of a lap for himself. Tyler, he goes P3. 17.4 SET pushing. Very hard for this championship. It's been very clear for quite a while. They're pushing very hard for the championship. And they're showing it once again. P1 and P3 so far. Perfectly where they need to be. I think we've got Snuck on a lap. Got Naseki making his way around. Is he on a fast run? I do not know. I think he's going to be going for another lap, though, because I don't think he's going too fast unless he is improving. It looks like he might actually improve his lap time. I didn't see a sector time. So, across the line, he does improve by 0.2 to P8. That's a pretty good lap for himself. Tathan across the line. Tathan! Fastest of all! VMV might just steal pole. 17.1. It's a new time to beat. It's a new time to beat. It is very, very fast. Yes, it will, Isaias. Hello. Yes, it will. It's going to be very, very interesting to see now. It is all going a little bit crazy, but Tathan, fastest of all. And that is one hell of a lap. Cheese is just starting his final run. I'm not sure who is on a lap and who isn't. So I'm kind of guessing at the moment. Luke is starting off his final run, I believe, in this session. I don't know who's on a lap and who isn't at the moment. Naseki across the line. He improved by 10th, but that's not an improvement in position. Just narrowly misses out on improving that lap time. Tathan is going to be starting another run. He's got even less fuel now. A lot of drivers out on laps for the moment. A lot of drivers out on laps. Switches up by just half a second at the moment. That's still not a lot. Only going to bring him up to P16 as it stands. So he's only going to gain 2 places. PR, 5th in the standings to now. Probably the slowest team out on track. It's not looking strong for PR at all. Coming up to the line and across the line. He goes P9. He finds a lot of time. But it's still only P9 for himself. And that's not exactly where he'll want to be. I think we've got Cheese coming up to the line. Where's Cheese going to go? Cheese! A 16.862 is the new time to beat in this session. It's a new time to beat. And that is one hell of a lap time. But I've got to invite somebody very quickly. Because sadly, somebody decided to join very late. And not wake up. And not join on time. Which is very stupid. And I very much do advise against it. Because it's idiotic to do so. And now I can't see him. Which is absolutely brilliant. At the most critical time in qualifying. I can't see this guy on my. I don't know if it's him. I don't know who it is. There it is. Invited the wrong driver for a second. But Cheese, fastest of all. We got Luke in second. We got a lot of drivers crossing the line. I think that's Beast. No, that's his teammates. I think we've got a lot of drivers doing laps at the moment. Switch. He's about to start his final run. Let's see what he's going to do. As we just saw Beast go up to P6. What a lap. What a lap indeed. Here comes D'Amico across the line. He goes P10. Very, very solid lap time there for himself. Cheese is starting his final run. I think we've got Simba who's starting his outlap or something. Somebody's doing something or other. Yanni, P11. SKG looking like they're having a very big struggle here in qualifying here tonight. 11th and 15th. Very much shaking up the order. And that is Luke finished. Snook goes into P3. Ty in P9. Yanni Casares! Fastest of all. Fastest of all. And this moron just seems to have not decided to join because he's decided that, you know, why doesn't he just wait until the end of qualifying to wake up? Frozen goes fastest. Fastest of all. JL just went P4. What a lap from himself. I think we've got Brand who's just gone P9 as well and all of that. Who's next? Switch goes P12. Very strong lap from himself. Beast goes P9. Even though he's looked in front of his teammate for most of the session, he's now drops behind. D'Amico not going that quickly at the moment. He's only P14. He doesn't improve on his final lap, and that is disappointment for himself. Cheese invalidated, and so he's going to stay P3 in this session. He's going to stay in P3. Simba, I think Pesci just went P16. Not a good lap from himself. Vapor just goes P2. Very, very strong from Vapor there. AERT showing some pace. And the box across the line, he goes P8. And that's a good recovery in qualifying. Naseki can't improve. He stays in P16. I think we've only got Simba, who's on a slow lap because he's invalidated. But it's frozen on pole. And it's another SCT pole here tonight. Another SCT pole. For the second time this season, SCT land themselves on pole position. By a good 10th and a half, over a 10th and a half. But I must say, ABE, also Hitman, joins on time as well, just in time to race for ABE. So he'll be starting last. But I have to say, it's very close. AERT up there, definitely with the strongest qualifying out of any team. Definitely with the strongest P2 and P4. Very strong from AERT in their second week. They're showing that they really want this. Really want to gain back in the championship at the moment. I think that would climb them up to about P6 in the constructors as it stands. But let's go to the audits. Frozen on pole, followed by Vapor, Yanni Casares, Cheese, JL, Luke, Snook, The Box, Tathan, Beast, Bran, Simba, Switch, Tyler, D'Amico, Naseki, Pesci, Raphael, and Hitman in 19th and last. But I have to say, looking quite interesting. Looking very, very interesting here tonight. Looking very close. And we're going to get going in a minute or so. In a few minutes. And we're going to be going in the next few minutes. I don't think it is quite interesting. So this is the whole sort of thing tonight. SET proving that they seem to be the fastest team seem to have the fastest driver when it comes down to qualifying. Frozen with another pole, second pole I believe this season. Second pole of the season for SET, I believe. It's strange to see them with another pole. I do think they look like they've got the fastest driver when it comes down to fastest single driver. But, you know, the fact that so far he's basically scored most of the points for SET this season is getting a little bit worrying because, of course, you can't have a one, you know, especially in this league, you can't have a one driver team. You know, so I'm really interested to see where everybody's going to be pace-wise. I think it's going to be an interesting night. I think it's a very interesting night. It's strange to see SET on pole again. I will say it's very strange to see SCT on pole for the second time in 3 races. I think it's interesting to see that we've clearly got not only one driver, but I think we've got SC2 who are clearly showing that they've got the top pace to get pole. Are they the top team qualifying wise? I wouldn't say at the moment they're the top team qualifying wise. Would I say they're the top team in sort of poles? Yes. Getting pole position, yes. Qualifying wise, I wouldn't say at the moment. I say that's currently between sort of, I think this week AERT probably wins best qualifying team. I think best qualifying team last week was probably EVR or, you know, somebody like that, or PR, a team like that. And in the previous week, I know it was EVR in the previous week. So I know that it seems to be very consistent that SCT are quickest, they get pole, but they're not overall quickest when it comes down to as a team. They seem to drop off a bit. Their second driver seems to struggle a little bit more. I think he's quite a bit low in the order. But here we go. We can hear the beeping, and it is time to get going for round number 3 of Season 5 of FRLT Assists. And we come to Brazil. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Brazil for round number 3 of Season 5 of Assists. That's a good getaway from Frozen. Down the inside he goes. He gets a good line and he continues to lead away very nicely. And that's a brilliant start from the pole sitter. Exactly what he needed for SET. But Vapor is all over the back of him. Is there going to be a change for the lead straight away on lap 1? We haven't really seen this before. And oh, there's somebody out in the wall. That's a Red Bull further back. That was Raphael who was into the wall. To the pit exit wall specifically. And that is a good start from a lot of drivers. You can see further back. Tathan trying to make his way past the box for P8. VMV pushing 4 points. You can see a Mercedes. I think that's Pesci that's gone off. Or, sorry, Simba. That was Simba that's actually gone off further back. Because here comes Pesci trying to make his move. Snook trying to go down the inside of JL. He's trying to make the move past the EVR driver. Can he get past? So far, EVR not having the best of weekends. Also the same for PR or SKG. Not the best so far. Not what they really wanted in this qualifying order. But so far, it's a good start from our race leader, Frozen, who's already broken away by about 6/10. And, you know, Dirty Air clearly being a bit of a strength here tonight. You can see Frozen. Look at this, down the inside, Yannick Casares gets past Vapor with a bit of ease. I have to say, turn 1, very easy move it looked like for the SKG driver. Are we going to be having a repeat of last week between Yannick Casares and Frozen over the race lead and the win? Of course, SKG took the victory last week and brought themselves up to 2nd in the Constructors. Are we going to see it once again? Are we going to see it once again? Who knows? And we're going to see a battle between the two teams once again this week. Already rivals from last week. Could be heading into another one. AERT, though, looking very, very strong on performance-wise. They're looking incredible. 3rd and 4th at the moment. Much better start to their race than last week. Hitman getting overtaken. I believe he said that he's stuck on a default setup. Again, this is a bit of a reminder. Don't join at the end of qualifying then. I will always say that. Tathan having a bit of a moment. He's ghosting. He's clearly had a bit of a moment. He's down to 8th again. Snook, he's having a bit of a battle with Snook over P7. So far, not doing too bad for LR. LR on for a couple of points. They missed out on points last week, but they're back on for 5 points this week. And to push themselves a little bit further up in the points order so far. They've already surpassed last season's points total. Hoping to do that a little bit more. Yanni just at the fastest lap of the race. Frozen is trying to break away, but he's been unable to. Of course, no DRS. You can see already a second is broken. Back to P5. Only the top 4 within a second of each other. And Vapor's losing a bit of time now. See, it's hovering around that 2nd mark. Simba's now made the move up to P13. Looks like SCT. It looks like Frozen. SCT on their own again. With only one driver inside of the top 10. So you see a bit of a thing that we see every race with SCT. It's not good, though, for them. Because it means they're only getting one driver in the top 10 compared to AERT. And, for instance, other teams like AERT. Whoa, and a big slide from Tyler. But, like I said, like other teams like SKG and AERT, who could, AERT could become a championship rival further down the line, and SKG, who are currently a championship rival, this is not the time to be having one driver outside. But UFRT are also facing the same issue, 13th and 17th. It looks like they're going to go pointless this race. And for the first time this season, they had an incredible start. They're 4th in the Constructors. But at the moment, based off of this, they're going to drop down. I believe, possibly 1 or 2 places. I know that it's currently 24 points going the way of AERT. But who knows? It looks like AERT might move up to 5th in the Constructors, by the way, just after tonight. Yeah, I know. After tonight, we might already see AERT up into the top 4, into the top 5 in the Constructors. So pretty interesting to see. You can see Hitman already down 3 seconds. ABE looking like they're going to be suffering another poor evening and no points for the 3rd time. 3 races now. Their longest run without points, which is... I don't know what's happening to... ABE this season. They're just nowhere in performance. Last week was a better performance than the previous week. Of course, 1DNF, their qualifying performance much better as well, but they're just suffering. They've suffered 2 retirements, I believe, now in 2 races. So they've only finished 50% of the time. Tonight's a no start, so again 50% of the time. And if most likely Hitman won't finish this race, from the possibility of it, we're probably going to be seeing, sadly, an even worse finishing rate, 6 starts and only 2 finishes, 33% finish rate is really poor. It's one of the lowest. I think it will be the lowest out of any team. So ABE do need to sort their finishing. But at the moment, AERT sitting pretty snug. I've got to say, they're sitting pretty snug in 3rd and 4th. They've got almost a 2-second gap to 5th. But they're just over a second behind 1st and 2nd. So they are behind 2nd place. So they are sitting a bit further off. Hitman gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And he retires. And that is now confirmation of a 33% finish rate for ABE. They're having their worst season ever. They've never gone 3 races without scoring points. But they have now. It's not getting any better. But like I was saying with AERT, at the moment, they're sitting pretty nice at the moment, on for 24 points this race, which I believe will be the highest scoring out of any team in one single race. So that's a really strong finish for them that they're looking like they're going to come out with tonight. The highest, I think, in the previous week has been 18 points scored, I believe, is the highest scored so far in a single week. I believe is 18. So it's not. So it's looking interesting. Nonetheless, but we'll see. Some people are saying it might get dry. I have seen one or two people say that so far, that it's going to get dry later on in the race, and maybe that's where AERT are losing time. Dry setup, more dry focus setup. Maybe that's where they're losing time at the moment, because it's wet conditions. But it's not heavy wet, and there's somebody round. That's Simba that's gone round. He's had a massive spin, and UFRT's day looks like it's become the worst. As it stands, they'll rank the 9th team. They're ranking 9th this race weekend. Qualifying, they'd rank 7th, but they'd rank 8th in team qualifying, but 9th in the race so far. Only AB below them. But I have to say, it's just, I don't know what's happened to them this week. They've gone from 4th in the standings to now being 9th. So they've relatively, based off of the season, they've dropped 5 places this week from where they usually are. Last week, I've got to say, they were probably the number 1 team last week. For me, they were number 1. PR was 2nd. Raphael's had a moment as well. He's had a spin. Driver's clearly struggling for grip as he has another spin, and into the wall he goes. It's not looking too brilliant. You can see the gap almost 2 seconds now between 2nd and 3rd, but the gap almost to a second between 1st and 2nd. Of course, still no DRS, so nothing too important for the moment. But Luke, in 5th for AZR, looking like he's really going to take a big points haul for them tonight. Bring them up to 17 points in their championship, which is a massive push in the championship, I've got to say. Bring themselves up to 17 team points. Already proving that AZR pushing a bit, are doing better than they were last season, but when they were previously known as VEL. But I have to say that, again, like with a lot of teams, one side seems to be doing well, the other side not so well. We're seeing with EVR, we're seeing it with SKG, we're seeing it with SCT, SKG. We're seeing it also with, for instance, on screen AZR, EVR. We're seeing it with LR, VMV. We're seeing it with sort of 7 teams, which is crazy. That out of the top 7, there's 6 teams running inside of the top 7 at the moment. There's 7 teams running inside of the top 8, and that's 9 teams. There's 8 teams running inside of the top 9, by the way. 8 teams. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams inside of the top 10, by the way. 8 teams in the top 10, which is absolutely crazy. This is why it is so competitive every week, and that's why the championship's so close. One, the points are smaller this season, the new point system. But it's not just the point system, it's that I think with the new point system, I think it means that a team can't just be carried by victories. Last season, we saw that with AMS a bit. They were carried by, early on in the season, it was impressive performances, and then they were kind of carried by having at least one driver inside of the top 3 every week, or sort of the top 2. They found that, with the driver being inside of the top 3 every single week, it was much easier. Raphael now retires. Another retirement in this race after just 8 laps. 2 retirements in 8 laps. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. But now it means officially UFRT have the worst thing to know for tonight. They're running dead last in this race. Pesci is still in it. He's not looked good at all. Same with Simba. He's out of it. He's completely out of it. His qualifying was better, but his spin ultimately completely destroyed his chance of getting a points finish. UFRT taking a tumble last week. By far the best team, I'd say. Realistically, they were the best team last week overall. This week, they're looking like the worst team overall. They're looking like the worst team for both drivers. Oh, well, that is Noseki, who touches the grass and spins. He keeps the car going, but a costly mistake and a rookie error there, and that drops him down. By the way, Luke is starting to catch Vapor and Cheese in front. He's starting to catch the 2 AERT drivers. Slowly but surely, he is catching them as they lose time down to 2.2 seconds behind Yannick Osiris. You see that gap is starting to come down. There goes Tyler on switch for P12. Very nice move there from the SEC driver, maybe trying to push his way back up into the top 10. He's got Beast next to deal with, but he's got a 2-second time gap to close down here tonight. He's got to close down those 2 seconds, and he's got to make that move past, and then he's got the box. Then Bran, then Tatham, and then Snook to battle. Everybody going on to lap 10. Nobody's actually stopped this race so far. No pit stops in this race so far. Interesting to see, I have to say. Nobody stopped. Best driver up position so far. Only up 2 is the best, and that's Bran, Tyler, and Pesci all up 2. Simba's down 5. He's had the worst race of all. Everybody on the same tires. No penalties this race as well, so great to see. Somebody is in the pits. Simba's in the pits. Are we going to be seeing a retirement from Simba, or is he going to be testing a new set of intermediates? Simba is going to become our first driver of the night to do a pit stop. But he's now going to be finding himself far, far away from the rest of the pack. But maybe he's just checking if new enters work or not. The rain is looks like it's actually getting a bit lighter in places. Beast now, by the way, battling with the box over P10. SKG want a double points finish, but again, it is only 1 point for them, which is quite small, but it's still a point nonetheless. And the box battling over this position. Beast really giving him a tough time. EVR have proven that they can get good points finishes, and they want it again here tonight. On the brakes, the box leads. Has he gone a bit deep into the corner? Yes, he has. He's gone a little bit deep. Beast gets a better exit, but he gets a little bit blocked. And a good defense so far from the box so far. And it's looking good. Let's see, riding on board with Beast. Down towards turn 1. He hasn't got the ERS. He hasn't got the straight line speed. Down the inside, does he go? No, he doesn't. The door is firmly shut, and it is no way, and there was no way that he's going to make his way through and up into P10 in this race, so he's going to have to sit behind. I think we've just seen Frozen make a bit of a mistake because he's just dropped about 7/10 to Yanni in the last lap or so. He's also lost quite a bit of time to Vapor, who's now brought it down to 1.6 seconds. So it looks like the leaders are starting to slow down. Maybe they've pushed a little bit too much, especially Frozen. Looks like he might have pushed a little bit too much. Look, that's down to 1.4 seconds, the gap. Just closing massively. Is Frozen trying to slow down Yanni and push him into the cars behind? Maybe. Remember, SKG and SET are both first and second in the championship. SET on 36 points, SKG on 30. So, you know, at the moment, you know, it's just a 1 point gain. You know, SET gained just 2 points in the championship over SKG. You know, they'll just gain 2. An 8-point lead in the championship, while SKG is still behind. You know, EVR aren't going to be scoring as many points here tonight. They're only on for 7 points. So they're going to be losing a massive chunk in the championship. Same for UFRT as well. AERT at the moment could push themselves, or on their way to push themselves up into 4th in the Constructors. But what would be crazy is if we saw a 1-2 finish by AERT here tonight. They're the closest to doing it, and it's possible that they could do it. I mean, if they were to do that, because Vapor's just gotten within a second now of Yanni and Frozen, as, by the way, the track looks like the rain's it's dying down a bit, actually. The rain is getting far lighter than it was earlier, so I think this could be a bit of a chance for Vapor to close in. You can see he's really gotten close now. He's into this battle. This now makes it a 3-way fight for the win. And this is not what Yanni or Frozen really need in this race. They don't need another car to join the battle and another team and make it a 3-way fight for the win. And especially if Cheese and Luke catch up, because they're both within a second now as well of each other. So because they're all now within a second of each other, it could become very soon a 5-way fight for the win here tonight. I mean, a 5-way fight for the win. 4 different teams in this battle. Of course, AERT are going to come into this with the biggest amount of strength out of any team because they've got 2 drivers inside of that top 5, inside of the battle. Luke's made a bit of a mistake, and it's allowed Cheese to get away a bit, and now Cheese has caught up to his teammate. Now AERT are in the battle for the win here tonight. They are truly in the battle for the win, as they're keeping within, as long as they keep within a second, they're very much still in the battle. And you can just see Vapor's just sitting there. His middle sector is far stronger than Yanni's and Frozen's. So I think that's an interesting point, is that AERT do seem to be faster in the middle sector and in the final sector as well. But they've gone a little bit slower this lap, maybe saving tyres. I'm not sure, maybe it's dirty air, who knows. But I know Frozen's made a few mistakes in the last lap or two, so it's clearly showing that the tyre wear is getting to him. Luke is also catching up. By the way, JL for EVR is also catching up to this battle, very slightly, bit by bit. So don't count out EVR out of the battle either. So we could really have a 5-way fight for the win between 5 teams. But still, last race, it was only really a battle between SET and SKG for pretty much the entire fight. This week, the wet conditions showing that it's maybe something a little bit different and something a little bit harder. And now we can see that is Tathan into the pits. He comes in. He's going to be the second stop of the night. Sorry, the third stop of the night. Switch also came in. So he's going to be the 3rd driver tonight to make a swap to fresh intermediates. Still quite a while away from halfway into this race. And it is starting to heat up. Vapor's made a bit of a mistake, obviously, because he's now dropped to 1.4 seconds off. So that push seems to have really slowed down. And that's not too good for them. It's really, really bad. For AERT, they can't be dropping off this much at a time. Yeah, I know, Luke is that, I know, Jeffrey, I know. Looking at tyres wise, only 3 drivers on fresh tyres, everybody else on old intermediate tyres. Nobody changing yet. Everybody feeling okay on their tyres for now. Which is interesting to see because I think it's dry now. Cheese gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is completely going to destroy his chances of taking a podium or big points for himself tonight. 2 more cars are in the pit lane. That is Snook and Cheese. What is Cheese going to? Cheese is going to the hards. Snook is going to the hards as well. They feel that the dry tyres, it's time for the dry tyres. As we miss, Yanni Casares takes the lead of the race. He takes the lead of the race. And at the moment, only intermediates and hards are being played around for the moment. We're going to have to see what do the leaders go for. It is dry at the moment. It has turned to being dry now. Who is going to go for what? Who is going to go for what now? Because Cheese has that 10-second time penalty, which puts him down in P13. My main question is, does he catch up to other drivers? I think we're going to see him close up to Naseki very quickly. So he might start to gain quite a bit of time on this lap already. So we'll have to see whether this is time to pit or not. Yanni doesn't come in. Did Frozen come in? No, he didn't. He didn't feel like it's time. Here comes Frozen. Down the inside he goes into turn 1. He just backs out of it. Oh, and a bit of a mistake. JL gets a 10-second time penalty for also speeding in the pit lane as well. We've got 4 drivers all in the pits now. That's our 5th driver as well. Got lots of drivers in the pits. 5 drivers in the pit lane at the moment. I think we're going to be seeing a 6th driver in the pit lane as well. 6 drivers all in the pits. Lots of drivers coming in. Where is Cheese going to come out in all of this? Has he lost time to both of these drivers? No, he hasn't. He just gets in front of Luke. Just gets in front of Luke. Just about. Not by much. He's definitely lost a bit of time, so maybe it was just a little bit early to go onto those hard tyres. See, the top 3 all still quite close to the box. 8 seconds off Tyler. 2 seconds behind and another 1.4 behind. So everybody below this, I'm pretty sure, has stopped. If we have a look, only Switch and Simba yet to stop for the hard tyres. So we'll have to see what the leaders do. I think Yanni's going to have to admit that it is time to come in. Where are the leaders going to come out in all of this? Here comes... Oh! Yanni gets a puncture! Oh! And that's Yanni with a puncture. That's how much he was pushing his tyres. He's received a puncture. That drops him behind Frozen. That drops him behind him. Oh my god. And he's going to hold up the whole pit lane. He's holding up the whole pit lane. This is complete carnage. He's holding up his teammate. He's holding up everybody. SKG's hopes disappear. They're watching them. D'Amico as well. They're up to speed now. But SKG's hopes completely disintegrate. And AERT's hopes come back into this. What has happened there? Oh my god. Out onto the hards for Yanni Casares. Oh my god. And that leaves SKG 13th and 17th after pit stops. Oh my god. That is complete and utter annihilation for SKG, and the hopes of winning tonight's race, I think, have just completely disappeared because they are about 15 seconds, I'd say about 15 seconds down the road from the race leaders. It's crazy. They're about 15 seconds down the road. P5, no. P4 is Switch is still on the intermediates. Who else? Simba's also on the intermediates. Not sure why he's staying out there, but Frozen now has a battle. It is 1v2. It's a very, very, I'd say, to some degree, one-sided fight, because I think we all know that AERT are going to push everything they've got. Simba gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane as well. Still no DRS, though, in this race. Still no DRS. We know that AERT mentioned about that they have a faster dry setup. They went for more of a dry setup than a wet setup, so maybe this is where Frozen is starting to lose. We know he's shown his skills in the wet, and he showed his skills in qualifying to get pole for the second time this season. But now he's losing all of the time to a guy who is on a dry set of tyres. And that is a spin in the first sector. That is Pesci, who's gone... that's Simba, sorry, that's gone round. He's lost part of his front wing, and he's going to have to go around with that as well. But for SKG, it's complete and utter annihilation of their hopes and dreams of achieving a win here tonight, or even a podium, because they're so far behind now that a points finish would be hopeful for them, really. Really, a P10 is looking like it could be the best they get. That's just difficult. Oh, that's somebody round. That's JL, who's had a bit of a moment. He spun. He's now slowed down. His teammate gets past him. Is he going to be able to hold on to P7? DRS is now enabled, which I think is just in time for... I think it's just in time for Vapor to get DRS. No, it wasn't. It was just a little bit off. Just a little bit behind. But Switch does in the end. He gets DRS in the end. But of course, down this back straight, it isn't enough. And it is proving Yanni goes fastest of all. Gets the fastest lap. But it's not enough for the moment. And that's Simba, who's gone round again. It's just more of his front wing. And I think that's the end of the day for him. That's a retirement for UFRT. I'm not sure what he's up to. He just seems to be spinning and spinning. And that's a safety car! That is a safety car. Interesting. Interesting. I think there's going to be some talk about, because Simba's still going around, I think there is going to be some talk about how that safety car has come round. Demaiko gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Maybe SKG's hopes aren't completely gone. Cheese is now coming in to the pits. He wants to get his stop out of the way. Same for Switch. Same for Luke. So Cheese has to serve that 10-second time penalty. Demaiko gets that speeding under the safety car again, I think. He's got to wait 10 seconds in the pit lane before he can go. He's onto the medium tyres. He thinks they'll last 16 laps. Where is he going to come out in all of it, though? This is the big question. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments, and I do think there is a very high possibility that was done on purpose. Which, of course, I am very, very, which I get. For me, it's a real pet peeve. It's a real pet peeve. Doing that, and it's also against the rules. So, sadly, for UFRT, they might be finding themselves with a massive penalty and possibly even disqualification from this race, by the way. It is up... by the way, just to point out, if you guys don't know the rules, it is up to the stewards for what they give. And for that might be disqualification from this race for UFRT entirely. Yeah. Like I said, it's up to the stewards. So a team needs to report it for me to do anything. But if nobody reports it, I'm going to very much warn UFRT about that, because I've not... Because if nobody reports it, I'm going to very much warn UFRT about it and just say, if I see it again, there is going to be problems, because it ruins teams' races, and it is very much, as I've said it is, I've said before, it is one of the biggest things I dislike. Sometimes, pretty much all the time in team championships, is when teams try to do that and when drivers try to do that. That just immediately annoys me, because it's race fixing, basically. It's completely just race fixing. But we're gonna have a look at the tires anyway. As you see, hard tyres for a lot of drivers. Some drivers on older hard tyres, others on mediums. I can see why some drivers stayed out, because it means that they get less tyre wear while they go around under safety car. So maybe that's why, but yeah. As you can see, VMV and PR up a lot of positions. Looking like a much better race. Same for SET, especially for Tyler. But the one thing for Tyler I want to point out here, the biggest thing for Tyler is that he is going to drop through the field, because on dries he's shown that he's clearly not so quick. He's about 12th quickest, 12th, 13th, 14th quickest. So he's going to very quickly drop behind Yanni and Cheese and Beast. I think that's going to be very quick. Maybe Tathan as well, Pesci probably, the box. He's and JL. It's going to be very, very quick. Safety car should be coming in this lap, but Frozen still leads away, by the way. He's led almost every single lap of this race, except, I believe, 2 laps. I believe 1 lap he hasn't led for 1 lap of this race. So 21 laps completed. By the end of the lap, it'll be 22 laps completed, 21 led by SET once again out of this race, which we've got to talk about. Just the absolute dominance of SET. Safety car is in this lap, and we are getting going. Let's see how it is going to go. Frozen can control the pace. The main thing for Vapor here is to catch Frozen napping. And it's the same for Frozen to do the same back to Vapor, is to catch the AERT driver napping for when he's going to go. See, he's waiting. He's taking his time, but he's going, and he's gone. And that's actually an incredible getaway by Frozen. He's caught everybody off guard, and it's a good restart for himself. You can see there's a lot happening further back. You can see Luke down the inside. He goes, already making his way up to P6. Beast as well, trying to make his way past Tyler. He's already trying to make his way up to P7 in this race, and Tyler losing positions further back. You can see, I think that's Yanni who's gone down a few places. It's still battling into the next corner, into turn 4. Still, as you can see, Beast, he's going to make his way past Tyler for P7, and that's a good move made. Snook as well, having a bit of an attack from Cheese. Cheese makes his way up to P9. That's an amazing restart for quite a few drivers. He's up to P9. Yanni Casares down a few places, but the box is also not having a great start either. And you can see now Cheese chases after a couple of positions, and these are important positions to make up. He needs to get up to positions, and now, without a penalty, he now has the strength to do so as well. Round the outside, is he going to try and make it on Tyler? Can he make the move? Look at this, Luke and Beast battling side by side. Still, Luke comes out on top for now. And you can see also Tyler coming out on top as well in the battle with Cheese. The box makes his way up to P15 ahead of JL, and that's a nice move for himself as he moves up another position in this race. Yanni as well moving up a place. He's up to P11. There's a yellow flag somewhere out on track. He's battling though with Snook. A little bit of a side swipe there. Got to be careful. D'Amico gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. I think that might be another retirement here tonight, and a retirement specifically for AZR. And you can see Yanni up to P11 as he confirms that move, getting closer to the points here tonight. Luke as well moves up to P5. Beast as well up to P6. Noseki down to P7 in this race. Cheese still yet to get up into P8. He's still stuck behind this one SET driver who's doing a good defense for the moment. He's really pushing hard, and he's really trying to make it work. You can see though, PR, P3 and P4, I believe that is 24 points for PR here tonight. So that will bring them to 45 points in their championship, which should bring them out to about second in the Constructors, by the way. As it stands, it will be second in the Constructors. So PR really handling tonight very well, and could be on their way for an incredible finish. Vapor, though, still chasing down the race leader. As Frozen runs away with this race. By the way, if if SET win here tonight, and they win for the second time this season, they'll have 3 wins in total, which means officially in assists, they'll have the third most win. They'll have one of the highest amounts of wins. They'll have, well, officially, they'll have the third most wins, third most wins in a season with both EVR and ABE. Vapor gets a 3-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not good from himself. Naseki as well gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Not going too well for himself. Still, SKG struggling to pull themselves back up into the top 10 in this race. A big move's needed. Cheese is the one trying to make that big move. As I'm clicking every key that's completely wrong. That isn't 9. And now into the next corner. Cheese needs to make this move. He needs to get up into P10 here. He's really losing lots of time behind Tyler here. And on fresh mediums, I'm surprised he hasn't been able to pull ahead of Tyler just yet in this race. He should have been able to make an easy move. Same for Pesci. On those fresh medium tyres, he's really being able to hold up Yanni at the moment. And Frozen now with another fastest lap. Switch moves up to P3 ahead of his teammate Bran, and that's a good switch. Cheese now moves up to P8, and that's another good move past Naseki, and that's another point coming the way of AERT here tonight. And that's an important point as well for them. Another point gained. Exactly what they need. I have to say, very, very important. Very, very important point. Snook as well. He's struggling to make his way through the order as JL makes his way past up into P13. Doesn't look like points are on board for LR for another evening here tonight. Another good start to their season and another downfall to their season as well at the same time. So it's not working too well for themselves at all. Cheese, though, losing a bit of time to Tyler. Tyler's pushing very hard to catch up to the pack in front that go all the way up to P2. Now, Frozen, 2.5 seconds out in the lead of this race. He needs to make a big mistake. To do that. But look at that. Yanni up to P10 and up into the points for SKG. It's still only a tiny little 1 point so far for this evening. Whoa, what a big slide from the box. He almost completely loses the car down the straight. Not too good. Whoa, getting a little bit close to hitting his teammate as well at the same time. Are we going to see a swap for position between the SKG drivers? We'll have to see. Are they going to start scrapping over the same positions? Cheese, by the way, lost out P8 as well to Pesci, which is interesting. He's really slowed down. He's really struggling on his medium tyres now. I'm not sure what's happened to Cheese here. He's just not able to keep up at all. But look at this. Luke trying to find his way past Bran over P4. It's big points for AZR here tonight. They really need these big points. And it will really pull them up in the championship. It will currently pull them up ahead of LR and up another position up into 6th in the Constructors. Although shortly that might still be a drop down anyway when it comes down to it. Naseki battling over P12 with JL. The chaos is still going on. We've still got a caution in Sector 3. And that is that. Whoa! And that is JL round! He spun it, and that is him round and down in this race. Not good at all. There goes Switch up to P2 in this race as well. And a very nice move for himself. Bran and Luke battling over P4 here. Look at this. Oh, and a bit of a wobble. Oh, and a bit more contact there. It's absolute contact everywhere at the moment. Everybody battling over these places very hard. Here comes Beast. Down the inside, he's trying to make the move. He's unable to. Ooh, and almost contact as well for Bran. He almost has a bit of a moment. On top of that, Yanni makes his way up to P9 as Cheese drops down to P10. He's really struggling on his medium tyres. For some reason, he's just completely lost all of his pace. Not sure where it has gone. And that is Simba, the man who caused the safety car, who's round again. And that's not good from himself at all. D'Amico retires from the race as well. And now switch down to P3. I think he's made a mistake again as he's dropped down a position once again in this race. As Luke now chases the positions for the podium. Bran as well. Try to find his way onto the podium along with his teammate. As Switch now makes his way back past Vapor for P2. Yanni's just set the fastest lap of the race. There's a slow Ferrari moving out of the middle sector. Yanni's, by the way, pulled himself up into P8 in this race. But the problem is now, can he catch with the others having DRS? I'm not sure whether he will or he won't. Because you see, he's lost about 3/10 down the straight anyway, because he hasn't got DRS. So we'll have to see how he does with that. Beast is all over the back of Bran for P5. But still, it'll be P2 and P4 for PR. So, I mean, still, 27 points in one single race, more than they've scored in the opening 2 races. So the safety car chaos has really helped them. 7 laps to go in this race. As long as they can stay here, at the moment, PR might be on for a very strong evening and a very straightforward evening as well. But at the moment, by the way, I can tell you, as it stands, the stewards, even without a report, will be investigating the safety car and what caused the safety car. Switch has just set the fastest lap of the race as well. Beast, by the way, making his way up. Look at Ty. He's trying to make his way past at the same time. Oh, and a bit of contact there. Bran really cutting off Tyler there. But I can confirm the stewards after the race will be looking at the safety car and how it was caused. And all teams can send in clips or any footage or evidence they have post-race. Yanni gets a 3-second time penalty. That's going to completely destroy his chances of scoring points here today, because that's going to currently send him down to P11. Cheese gets a 3-second time penalty as well. That completely hurts him. But for now, Vapor in P3, he's just pulling about enough of a gap. He needs about another 7/10. But as it stands, he will finish P5 in this race. So he will still take 10 points. And Cheese will not take any. So still 10 points for AERT here tonight. But it's not the best. It's not what they were hoping for. SCT might come out top scorers of all on for 26 points as it stands. 26 points coming the way of SCT. As look at that. Vapor now makes the move. Luke has just set the fastest lap as well. For these guys, a point for fastest lap is still another point. And there goes Luke up into P3. This could be P2 by the end of the race. And AZR's first podium ever in FRLT assists. Here he goes down the inside. He's trying to get that move past Vapor, but Vapor's just not having it at all. That's a good defense, but we can see the penalty starting to stack up for some drivers. Yanni Casares can now really say to himself that at the moment he'll be out. He'll be P10 with his teammate, probably P9. So at the moment, it's not looking brilliant for SKG. So at the moment, just 3 points on the cards for SKG here tonight. They're really having a struggle. To just pull off 3 points is going to drop them really far in the championship. But SCT again coming out clear, strongest team. P1 and P6, sort of 26 points walking the way of SKG. Tonight, their strongest race finish of the season. They're 8 points compared to their previous best of 18 points, I believe. So they're looking pretty good here. Once again, they're looking like they've got a pretty good performance on their hands. But let's see, can anybody close up the gap to the leader? Or is any more chaos going to happen? Yanni just set the fastest lap once again. Trying to take that point for SKG. Yanni now moves up to P7. He's got a bit of a battle with Bran. Bran really struggling on his old hard tyres now. He's really struggling to keep up. Tyler also trying to make his way up to P5 in this race. He's trying to get past Beast. If we look at the tyres, we're going to see clearly who's sort of doing better. Tyler's on slightly older tyres, 15 lap old tyres, just like the front two. A few other drivers on 12 laps, 16 laps for Bran, 16 laps for Naseki and for Tathan as well. VMV not having a good evening either. So a couple of teams. I think it is quite interesting to see. So we'll have to see whether Vapor's going to finish in P4. I think P4, P5 or P6, somewhere around there is where he's looking to finish. So it's not looking the best. But we do know PR will be on the podium for the first time, and AZR are currently on their way to be on the podium for the first time this season. So we've at least got 2 new teams on the podium. So we haven't just had SET. We haven't just had EVR, SKG, LR, or I think that's everyone actually. SKG, EVR, SCT, UFRT, I think in one race. So 4 or 5 teams we've had on the podium. I think we've had 5 teams on the podium in 2 races, and it looks like we're on our way to see 7 teams on the podium in just 3 races. I do believe. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe that's how many. Switch still slowly trying to make his way around. Just 4 laps to go in this race. The laps are coming down, and Frozen continues to lead. Only 1 lap led by one other team, and that was SKG, who led 1 lonely lap in this entire race. SCT on their way for another win, and a second win, and a third win in assists, which brings them out ahead of EVR in total wins, and I believe also ahead of SKG in total wins, and ahead of quite a lot of teams. It goes, officially AMS have the most wins. I think they have 15, or I think they have 18 wins now. I believe they have 18 wins. Sorry, 19 wins. They have 19 wins. Because they've got 3, 9, 14. Yeah. They have 19 wins. They have 19 wins in 4 seasons. SCT will be coming into their 2nd season and are on their way for their, I believe, their 3rd win in Cheese gets another 3-second time penalty. That completely rules him out of a points chance anyway. He's miles behind, but SCT on their way for their 3rd victory, because it goes AMS on 19 wins, FG with 6, AB with 5. Yes, AB has 5 wins in this, but they haven't been able to do any better than that. There's Simba having another moment in this race. So SCT will pull up into, I believe they're going to pull up into a pretty nice spot of 4th, I think joint 4th for wins in assists. So it's pretty nice to see that could be on. At this rate, in 12 races, we're only going to see 4 other teams win based off of this. 4 other wins. They're going to win 8 out of 12. So most likely 8 out of 13, by the way, is the likelihood. 8 to 9 out of 13 at the moment is what they're on for. So they're on for a really good season. Bran as well pulling his way back up into P9. Pesci as well pushing for points. Looking quite interesting. 2 laps to go. Pesci's made a mistake, and that drops him down behind Snook and behind Bran. Snook does have a penalty, but that's a position still lost. Yanni Casares with his penalty pretty much rules him out of any chance of taking any positions, except if he gets in front of Vapor. But at the moment, that doesn't look like really an option. So it looks like he's going to finish P7 anyway, and Vapor's going to finish P6 at the end of the day. Cheese makes his way up to P13 ahead of JL. Another move made. He's on those fresh soft tyres. But we're about to go on to the final lap. Lap 36 here at Brazil of 36 as Frozen starts this final lap. It looks like AZR and PR are on their way to achieve their first ever podiums in FRLT assists to become the 6th and I believe 7th team to achieve podiums in just 3 races. Finally to get their name up there to be on the podium. AERT yet to get there, but P6 finish. We know that at the moment, EVR also not able to get onto the podium as it stands here tonight, but we'll have to see into the last few moments of this race because it is very, very close. Our 4 drivers realistically could still get it. 4 drivers still all in with a chance to get that podium, to get on that podium spot. Only Vapor and Yanni can't because of their penalties. So we're going to have to see Beast, by the way, makes a move past Ty, and that's a nice move, and that actually secures an extra point for EVR here tonight. Still another 11 points for the team, pulls them ahead of SKG in the constructors' standings. Back up into a good place, and it's yellow flag, it's JL, but it is Frozen, who will win in Brazil once again for the 2nd time this season, and it is the win in FRLT Assists, season number 5. As a great win. Lucas 2nd with Switch in 3rd. Beast is 4th. Ty in 5th. You can see Snook in 8th. Brand jumps both of them and goes P8. And that's a great finish. Pesci P9. Snook in P10. So still a point for LR by the end of the day. But the box still misses out on points. But it's still 5 points for SKG. But loses them a position in the constructors while they're at it. But what an end. SCT win for the second time this season, their third win in assists, and another trophy to be lifted, another winner's trophy to be lifted for SET this season. I have to say, it's an absolutely incredible performance to see from SET once again. For the second time this season, they've not only won by a small margin, but they've won by an absolutely dominant. They've had another dominant day for the second time in 3 races. A dominant day. Mexico was close. They almost won in Mexico. You know, it was just a penalty that lost them out, and also they just missed out. But I have to say, even with that, you know, it just shows that SET and with Frozen are sitting at the front of the pack, massively at the front of the pack at the moment. And that is Mash, who has a his tire's gone a little bit funny there, but he's had a blowout there. But that is Frozen, who's won, and a victory nonetheless, as we're going to see the race come to an end. As that was JL reversing across the line, but what a victory it was at the end of the day. What a victory. But like I said, UFRT. Too many team names to remember. But UFRT are going to be under investigation post-race because of the safety car. Because I saw it last season. I'm not going to be seeing it again. I don't want to be seeing it again this season. We had it, I think, twice last season in assists. I don't want to be seeing it again. I said that I won't be seeing it again, so we're definitely going to be seeing an interesting day. Drive the day switch, most overtakes switch, fast lap cheese, so he steals that point away from rival teams. For me, drive of the day has got to be switch. I do agree. Switch, definitely drive of the day at the end. But it is Frozen who wins, followed by Luke, switch, Beast, Tyler, Vapor, Yannick Casares, Bran, Pesci, and Snook, who all finish off the top 10. The box is 11th, followed by Naseki and Tathan, then Cheese, then JL, and then Simba. Our retirements being Demaiko, Raphael, and Hitman. But what an end to tonight's race, and what an incredible night it was. 2 new teams on the podium, and it's incredible to see. Also, guys, that is the end of tonight's stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please make sure to stay around for Friday and Sunday. Every Friday, Sunday, and of course Wednesday at 8 PM for assists. No assists on Fridays and 4s on Sundays. So make sure to stick around for all of that. Also make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and also click on that notification bell to know about all of the content we're going to be doing from streams, shorts, and videos. Also, make sure to join our Discord server or follow us on Twitter, as you can see, the @ search that, FRLT F1. Make sure to go and follow us on there for more updates. Ultimately, thank you guys so much. And before we go, we'll have one last look at the calendar. We've now gone through Monza, Mexico, and Brazil. Next week, we go to the Netherlands. And then we'll be having a break week before we go to our mystery race, our first mystery race of the season. And then Hungary, Imola, Great Britain. Then a mystery race. Then another break week. And then in September's race, we'll be having Japan, Belgium, Saudi Arabia. And then October, on the 1st of the 10th, will be the final race of the season. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye. Look at this! Look at the battling, and it is a safety car! Here comes Mika into slow corner. Whoa! Almost! And away we go here in the Netherlands for